You're good.
Good morning, everyone. Everyone bow their heads for just a moment. Dear Lord, we thank you for this day in Southern Illinois and the beautiful weather that we're having. We ask that you bless this board and give us the guidance and the wisdom to make decisions for all of our county. Bless our county and the people that work here. We ask these things in Jesus' name, amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Lance, would you do the roll call?
Sure will. Commissioner Harville?
Here.
Commissioner Pitts?
Here.
Commissioner Miller?
Here.
Commissioner Toller?
Here.
Commissioner Gould?
Having a quorum, I'll call the meeting to order. First item, approval of minutes. We have regular meeting minutes from July 22nd. Everybody had a chance to look at those?
Yes.
Any additions or deletions?
I make a motion to approve minutes.
I'll second it.
Commissioner Harville?
Yes.
Commissioner Pitts?
Yes.
Commissioner Miller?
Yes.
Commissioner Toller?
Yes.
Commissioner Gould?
We also have executive session minutes from July 22nd. Everybody had a chance to go over those.
I'll make a motion to approve the executive session minutes and that they remain closed.
My second.
Commissioner Harville?
Yes.
Commissioner Pitts?
Yes.
Commissioner Miller?
Yes.
Commissioner Toller?
Yes.
Commissioner Gould?
Yes.
Public comments. Everybody's here on official business, I think. Okay, moving on. Committee reports.
Yeah, Animal Control, just wanted to advise the county that we are extremely full out there, both dogs and cats. And I got a few numbers here. So far this year, we have brought in 154 animals. We've had 39 of them adopted, and we've had a total animals, this is rescue and all, of 187. But since this report's come out, we have picked up about 9 more animals.
Where are we at on the new building?
We're working on that right now today as we speak.
Well, I have a couple of reports. I've got to make sure I've got them separated. This is from the Southern Five Policy Board, and Planning Commission, and we had our audit. That's the main thing. I just want to pass that around real quick for you guys. We passed with flying colors, and we've been loaning out money, and the people and businesses have been paying it back. So we're actually in the black. We're on the good side, and so other than that, it was just normal business down there. Really not a lot pertaining. We was talking about jackets for deputies again, and we're working on that. Get some money for them. So anyway, and then the other one is the what we call the HOOP committee I'm on. It's a Union County tourism. It pertains to the tax dollars from the beds and breakfasts that we collect and money that's allocated. And we actually had a application submitted to us from Union County Economic Development. And anyway, they're I think we have it on the agenda today.
Yeah.
So anyway, they're requesting $22,000, which we have the money, and our fiscal year is coming up. It's almost done, so we have the money, and we haven't had any more really applications yet. So they're going to use 18,000 of it on marketing to promote the county, and another $3,500 will be for a fold-out map where our points of interest are in the county, and that they need $3,500 for that. So it'd be for the spring, summer, and fall, and winter. And so, yeah, I highly recommend that we approve that. So.
Anybody else? Moving on to building permits.
Yeah, we've got one, it's on parcel 0508030078. It's for a modular home, there's no subdivision, no floodplain, recommended for approval.
Anything you wanna update us on, Jeff, while we're passing this around?
Well, we're working on down on Miller Road, the box culvert project. It's got the floor and the walls poured. That project's going along pretty well and getting ready to, so the guys have been, I think the oil and chipping, I think we've covered close to 70 roads so far this season, so they're staying pretty busy with that.
And you're short 2 people, the way I understand it.
Yeah. Yeah, we're looking to hire 2 additional maintainers. So, if you know anybody looking for a job, send them our way.
Any questions on the building permit?
Not for me.
I'll make a motion to approve the building permit.
I second.
Commissioner Harville?
Yes.
Commissioner Pitts?
Yes.
Commissioner Miller?
Yes.
Commissioner Toller?
Yes.
Commissioner Gould?
Yes.
Moving on, old business, approval of collective bargaining agreement between Union County Sheriff's Office and FOP. We're still trying to review the numbers on the final copy, which we're working on. So there's a discrepancy in what we're showing and what they put in print. So we'll continue to table that for the time being. I think we've made the guys in the sheriff's office aware of this, so they know what's going on and they understand, and so it's just a matter of time getting that straightened out. So approval of election judges for 22-23 election years. That's all set and done, right,
And
Lance?
you guys just have to approve it, and I'll take it to the circuit clerk, or and then the judge has to sign off on it too. It's, technically, they work through the circuit clerk, or circuit, court system as technically how they are worked. But yeah, this is kind of a every 2-year thing that we put together.
If anybody's interested in looking at this, when I get done signing these 52 pages here,
You're welcome.
has a list of them. I'm gonna get a stamp. Anyway,
It's mostly the same ones that worked this primary election in June. And Bobby knows that you never have, it's never consistent with, it doesn't just stay on that list. There's new people and people that'll drop off there just as quick. So it's always revolving. So, but we do the best we can.
I make a motion, we approve the submitted election judges as presented.
I'll say
Commissioner Harville?
Yes.
Commissioner Pitts?
yes.
Commissioner Miller?
Yes.
Commissioner Toller?
Yes.
Commissioner Gould?
Yes.
While we're speaking of election judges, while we're on that subject and so forth, I don't know if you all are aware of a unfunded mandate that the state of Illinois has done to us and all the other counties on this mail-in ballot situation. You want to speak to that?
Sure can. Earlier this year, the state legislation passed a bill that will set up a permanent vote by mail list. So what that is where if you want to vote by mail for the remainder of your time or however you want to vote, but if that's how you choose to vote, there's now a list that you can sign up for. Then 40 days before the election, we will mail out your ballot. with that, we have to, if you guys remember in 2020, we had to mail out applications to everybody if they wanted to vote by mail for the 2020 election. So the state has mandated now that we're sending another application out, but this one will be different. You can select to, first off, if you don't want to vote by mail, please disregard it, shred it, get rid of it. If you want to vote by mail, just this one time, you can actually set up just a vote for the 2022 general election by mail. If you want to join the permanent vote by mail list, there's that option as well. So this is what has changed. So the funding thing comes from, we have to send out every registered voter in the county a application now with this option. In 2020, they at least gave us a grant to pay for all the postage and paper and envelopes and everything else. Well, there's 11,000 and such registered voters now that will have to send out postage and envelopes and everything else. So they passed this without funding. So they've left it up to every jurisdiction to fund it themselves. So this was not in the budget. If I'd have known about it, I'd have tried to put it in there, but it passed after our budget was set. So this was something kind of just handed down to us. So it is in the statute, it is state law. The permanent vote by mail list thing also, if someone selects to be on this permanent list, it is up to them to let us know their changes. If we then, because that's the only way that person's going to be able to vote is by mail. So that 40 days before the election, their ballots will go out every election. So it'll be from now on. Used to, you had to have an application for every time you requested a ballot. This is just one application now will be set for life. So I will not have any application to back up that person's vote by mail that will be signed by that person for each election. I personally I have an issue with that. I think that we need to have a application for each time a ballot goes out. So we're set up, Platinum has us set up with in the voter registration system that is where we will put them on this list. We will have it. We will watch it the best we can, far as if anybody, any changes and things like that. But if people do select to be on this list, it is up to them to let us know if they've moved, whatever their status is. So it's going to create some more confusion. So we've come up with this letter I've given you guys. This will also go in every envelope along with the application that we're statutorily required to send. I won't go through this letter, but I hope it makes it clear and understandable what is going on and what their options are. We'll still have early voting. We'll still have our precincts open for election day. So if you want to vote by mail just once, you can, or if you want to vote by mail permanently, you can. That's just now the new option with it. So if anybody's any questions, that's what we're dealing with. They continually give us things that confuses voters, in my opinion, but we're trying to make it as clear as we can. Hopefully people will read this and understand. And of course, if there are any questions, let us know.
When's this gonna be effective?
Right now,
Right, immediately?
we were actually a few days late on getting this out because we didn't have the funding. So
Yeah.
Well, I'll go on record as chairman. I'm totally against this. We don't have a choice. The state should not give us unfunded mandates. This is going to cost the county just for postage around $7,000. That's not counting the paper, the envelopes, the time, and everything else. So we don't have a choice to do it. We don't have anything to vote on, but I just want that on the record, that this is absolute nonsense. So that's all I'll say.
Did you prepare that document?
Hmm?
Did you prepare that document?
this one,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah, and that's the thing, like, you can, nothing says that you cannot put that in there. And even in 2020, we even put a letter similar explaining what this was and what your options were, and it went pretty well. And I hope this time will be the same. So, I mean, we'll have questions, I'm sure. But that's just the cards were dealt. So.
Sign of the times.
you know, I feel the same way that you do, about an application should be signed for each election. And I also disagree with Clint on the benefits from the study. You know, we dealt with them for years, and I never did like them, but they still did.
I mean, I think just for the auditing reasons and this, you know, the checks and balances of an election, an application should match how many ballots will go out. And so now it's gonna be, that's always gonna be off with that. And now we'll know the list and we can go off the list as far as how we should know how many ballots are out, but it's always nice to have an application with their current signature, so you can verify that's the voter. That's really all we've got is their signature. Especially vote by mail. We don't see the people, we don't know. So it's off of their signature and we go off of, we use the application and the signature that they have on file as well. Well, now we don't. So we're sending out blank ballots without an application, in my opinion, and I just don't agree with it. So, it makes it sloppy and it can leave some holes for us to have to deal with. And so just bear with me. We're gonna try as hard as we can, but.
How long after the voting will you be able to accept mail-in ballots back?
The last day for them to come in by mail would be the Thursday before the election, so I think that's November 3rd this year. But we can already start receiving these applications now.
Yeah, I'm more worried about the day of the election. Do they have
They-
any time after that?
So statutorily, 14 days after the election is when you can accept mail-in ballots. They have to be postmarked, but on the day of the election. Or before, yes. But the last day we can send out ballots I'm sorry, I kind of confused that. The last day we can send out ballots is Thursday before the election. We can accept them in the mail, and now in person, it has to be on the day of election if someone drops it off, obviously. But in the mail, they give up to 14 days. That's when we finalize and close out the election. So if you remember in 2020 with everything, certain states were 7 days or 4 days, or Illinois is 14 days. So if there's a race that's tied basically at that time or anything that it'd be Illinois, we wait 14 days to finalize everything. So that's letting you know on that. So,
All right.
but yeah, I think in the bills, we're gonna ask for you guys to approve the funding there for it, but.
All right, moving on to new business, approved payment of bills. Everybody have a chance to look at the bill list?
Yes.
Any questions?
No, I make a motion to pay the bills.
Commissioner Harville,
Yes.
Commissioner Pitts,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Toller,
Yes.
Commissioner Gould.
Speaking of that, and along with payment of bills, Angie, we've got this that we were just talking about, we need to approve, and then also we have another court bill.
Yes, so you have just the postage, like you said, for this, which is all Platinum has billed us for, that we have to pay ahead of time. And then they'll bill us for the paper and all that stuff. But the postage alone is $6,996.60. So that will need to be approved because it was unbudgeted, so I can't approve it. And then I have 40 legal bills that we do every time because that they are currently over budget. The 40 legal bills total $10,131.89. So those have to be approved too. I think right now they're about 60,000 over budget. So this will make it 70.
This will make it 7.
This is just August.
Pardon?
This is just August.
So. All right,
You wanna do them individually?
yeah,
or-
do them individually. Let's do the election deal first. Again, and I make this motion very angrily that we pay this bill.
I will second this. Angrily.
Angrily. Commissioner Harville,
Yes.
Commissioner Pitts, Commissioner Miller,
Yes,
Commissioner Toller,
Yes.
Commissioner Gould.
Yes.
I mean, and I'll get off my soapbox here, but I really don't understand what counties, I mean, we have the luxury of being okay financially, but stuff like this, we won't continue to have that luxury. I don't really understand how counties that are not, how they get by. But anyway, I guess they borrow money like we used to. Second item is the court bills. Make a motion that we approve this.
I'll second
Commissioner Harville,
Yes.
Commissioner Pitts,
it. Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Toller,
Yes.
Commissioner Gould.
Yes.
Okay, moving on a lighter note. Southern Seventh Health Department update. Crystal, you wanna talk
Rhonda.
to us?
Crystal's my secretary,
Oh,
so
okay.
she's the one that made the appointment, but I'm Rhonda Ray. I'm the executive director for the health department.
Excuse me, I just was reading all.
That's
the
okay,
agenda.
Max. That's all right. I'm gonna play a little show and tell, so I got a couple of things, if you guys could post them somewhere in the courthouse.
Okay.
And these are a copy of our service brochures with all of our business cards if you ever need to get a hold of us. And then we have prepared a Union County at a glance, so you can kind of see what the health department's doing in Union County. And I brought the whole team with me today, so I'm gonna let them go ahead and introduce themselves while I'm passing this out. Emily?
My name is Emily Boyd. I'm the Human Resources Administrator. I'm Jennifer Parks. I'm the Early Childhood Administrator.
I'm Miranda Adams, I'm the Environmental Health Director.
Natalie Sawyer, and I'm the Health Education Director.
Sarah Goddard, I'm the Financial Administrator. And Teresa Wilburn, I'm the Director of Nursing.
So like I said, you got the whole team. So we are here not to ask you for money, so go us. Just want you to know that right up front, we are not gonna ask
It's
for money.
a bad day to do that.
Yeah, I wouldn't dare. I would not dare. I've had an occasion to work with Max before. Max was at our Strolling Through the Colon a couple of years ago and did some speaking for us, so thanks, Max, for doing that. We appreciate it. And Kent Pitts is on our board, and I got to meet him in the parking lot because we're still doing hybrid meetings. So thanks, Kent, for being on the board. He's a good attender, so I appreciate you nominating him. As far as other board members we have Dr. Idy in town and Dr. Swafford. They're also on our board. We have a vacant position that we're kind of looking for. I've got someone in mind, but it's the wrong time of the year for them. So maybe in another 3 months or so, whenever we get past summer, I will send something to the county clerk asking for an appointment on a board member. We also have what's called a policy council, and that's what guides and directs our Head Start program. And there's a board that goes with that. There is, I'm not quite sure how many people are on that board, but there's representatives from every county. In Union County, we do need a member. So if anybody knows of anybody, we will be looking for a member for Policy Council. So as far as things that Health Department does here, first of all, we are in 4 locations in this county. We have our Health Department office, which is on Lick Creek Road, where they're open Monday, 8:30 to 4:30, Monday through Friday, so we're there every day. That's pretty uncommon in the rest of our counties where they're part of the time, not full time, so that's a good thing. We also have Head Start in 3 locations, Cobden, Dongola, and Jonesboro, and those are in the schools. We did have a rental that we were renting over here on Vienna Street, is that right, Vienna Street? And we had an architect work on it. We were going to do a big remodeling, and when the estimated bill came out, and we were doing another project, things were bid at about twice of what they were supposed to be. So that was estimated to be a $2 million bill, which we could not afford to do. So we have gotten additional space in Jonesboro. We've moved some of those displaced kids to there, and also to Cobden and Dongola and other places that they can go, so that they still have services. But we're not in that building anymore. We're out of that building now. Public health services, we kind of have two kind of cores to the health department. One's Head Start and one's public health. So our public health services are things like our basic shots, our WIC appointments, pregnancy testing, TB tests, COVID shots, and now I guess it's gonna be monkeypox too. So that's another thing that's in public health. Another big part of public health is environmental health, and in this county, we have 124 food establishments that get inspected. They're inspected by category of risk. So if they're a high category restaurants, then they get inspected multiple times a year, down to a low risk place, which would be like a Dollar General where they have prepackaged food in freezers. That's once every other year. So we also have a large health education division in this county. We have a coordinated school health program. We do a lot of anti-vaping, pregnancy prevention, adolescent health. We're a partner with Rural Health for an opioid program that's going on. So lots of work we do in the schools in this county. Head Start. Head Start's a big part, like I said, of our agency. We have about 180 employees, and about 115 of them are Head Start. So it's a big part of the health department. And for Union County, on the last day of the last school year, there were 65 of 94 slots filled for the school year. That number is misleading on 2 counts. One, we had a lot of displaced children because our center that we were in was not open. So that's one. Second thing is there are kids that come and go, and they're off and on. And so that doesn't tell you the number of children that was served. It just tells you at that time, that's how many people we had on. Then for early Head Start, we had 20 out of 24 slots filled. So our traditional Head Start takes care of 3 to 5 year olds. Our early is below 3. So that kind of tells you the difference there. We do have a few future events in this county. We have what's called the WOW van, which is our Wellness on Wheels van. It's a mobile clinic unit. We've been running it at a lot of schools, workplaces, parks, you name it. And so there's the 17th is going to be at Sukasa. The 24th is going to be at Sunshine Inn, and also it's going to be at Anna at the Walmart. So, and we're able to do blood pressures, COVID shots, lead screenings, water well samples. We've got a whole host of things that we can do out of that unit. And then as far as human resources go, we employ 34 of residents here in Union County. They're based in different offices, not all necessarily in Union County, but a lot of them are. And we have some vacancies. We're looking for a health educator for Anna, a substitute Health Start teacher in Anna, and a WIC breastfeeding peer counselor in Anna. So this little introduction that I'm giving you is not going to be a one and done thing. We're planning on coming out about once a quarter, and it'll be different girls that'll be coming, and they will tell you more about their program. I just give you the high points. They'll get into details about the program. That way, if you've got any questions or concerns, or if they've got concerns about things that's going on in the program, we can kind of work together and get those done. But we're doing this with all the commissioners meetings. So today you get us. Does anybody have any questions they want to ask?
You guys have an event coming up, I guess, connected to the farmer's market.
Yes, this week, so.
It is? Okay. Yes, we do.
I think it's a good thing. Any idea about how many vouchers you're going to give out? I don't.
They have it's like 30 vouchers?
I thought it was, they're $30 vouchers, but I believe all WIC participants, so whatever our caseload is for WIC at the time, correct?
All Union County.
Oh, yeah.
All of them.
Yes.
Anybody?
They're the specialists. not me.
Will this be just a one-time thing, or is this?
They're rotating. Right now, we do the van on Wednesdays. So anything that's a Wednesday thing we can do. We wrote a big grant to get the van for 5 days a week. So as soon as it's on the road 5 days a week, we'll be back over here a lot more. Yeah.
Vegetables, hold up.
Yeah.
It should be, yeah, we should do it that, as far as the farmer's market, it should have it annually. Do they do it in all 7 counties?
No, okay. It's the only farmer's market. Yeah.
And my daughter's always on me, she said, Dad, you need to eat more vegetables. I said, french fries and ketchup.
Potatoes and tomatoes, that's a vegetable.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Bobby, did you have a question?
The vacancy for Union County.
Uh-huh.
Actually, I guess it's you.
Uh-huh.
And you're looking for someone, what type of vacancy is that?
Emily?
Well, the health educator did get filled since that's been printed. That one did. Outside of that, the other one is a substitute teacher, so they do need to have at least 18 early childhood credits to be able to qualify. They have to go through the same process that our teachers do, which is pretty stringent on the DCFS side. So a sub teacher, so anyone with that kind of early childhood experience, we're looking for that because they can substitute at any of our sites that way. And then the other vacancy that we have is the WIC peer counselor, and that's to help with women that are breastfeeding. It's more of a peer-to-peer where they can, if they're struggling or having issues, they can text this person even just to get some help from them. It is part-time, it's only about 10 hours a week. So it's pretty easy for, moms that are going through that right now to help other moms. So that's a really good program related to our WIC. So those are the current openings in the county.
And probably a program assistant at our Dongola site.
Yes, and a program assistant just opened up yesterday. This was printed before that went out, because we did a little rearranging around this time of year. We kind of have some musical chairs, as I say, and people move in and out to different sites. So we do have a program assistant at the Dongola Head Start, and a person to qualify for that just needs to have a high school diploma and be at least 18.
Where do you advertise for your jobs?
We advertise on Indeed, and then also the State Illinois site. We also advertise on Facebook, and we're actually going to be having an open interview event on September 15th for our any open things that we have. That's going to be at Ullen at first. We hope to move out to the other counties. It kind of depends on how well that one goes as to how much we're going to be able to get to the other counties. And I don't have any dates set on that. But we're going to go to any of the Shawnee extensions and have open interviews there. So I hope by the end of the year. We also have flyers that are going. We gave you all one today that shows our current openings. If they scan a QR code, it'll show the most current openings that we have. So no matter if there's a fluctuation, they'll be able to scan that so that can permanently go up. We put that. I've tried to stop around gas stations in the city this week. We went to Hebrews and a few of the other local restaurants to try to hang some of those flyers as well, and they were pretty receiving of that. So we're just trying to get the word out there for sure.
I just have one other question. On the 124 food establishments, is that public information?
Yes,
We can look at it for your request?
absolutely. Yes.
And you can access the inspections from our website as well. So if there's some place that you've got in mind that you want to check out, you can go to our website, southern7.org, and there is a link that you can click on, and you just type in the name, and it will bring up the history of their inspections.
Okay, so you get the inspections and you also get the list there.
You can, yep, I believe you can search by county on there.
That's all I got.
Okay, any other questions? Good questions.
I
We
would say-
also have an app that we're just rolling out.
Yes, yeah, we have a phone app. So it's on the App Store and Google Store. So we're uptown here. We have a Southern 7 app that you're able to access, and you can filter what county you're wanting to. So if you guys just wanted to see what's going on in Union County, you would get alerts for just that county based on Southern 7 information. So that's a really neat thing too. We've all kind of got it on our phones to use.
I would say if you want to set up the band, the wellness band, one day here, we probably.
Perfect. I'll let them know. I don't
Establish-
schedule, but I can get it to the girl that does schedule.
Okay. You have a problem with that?
Okay, well, thank you for your time. We really appreciate it.
I'll come
Thank
down
you.
and see you sometime.
Okay.
I got a lot of things.
That's fine. You come on down, Canton. You've got my card.
So you're going to do this once a quarter?
Once a
basically?
quarter or
Something like
so, yes, we're gonna send people out.
that. Okay, very good, appreciate it.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you all. Okay, next item on the agenda, resolution appointing commissioner of Clear Creek Levy and Drainage District, Matthew Follis.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I thought you skipped it, but you didn't. I skipped it. Go ahead.
As usual, they sent us a letter asking that we appoint Matthew. His term expires September 1st, 2022, so it would actually be a reappointment. But
Commissioner Harville,
Yes.
Commissioner Pitts?
Yeah.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Toller,
Yes.
Mr. Gould.
Next item, resolution appointing commissioner of the Clear Creek Levee and Drainage District. This is the actual appointment, I guess. No, this is. This is different. Appointing Matt Falls to serve as Commissioner of the Clear Creek Levee and Drainage District, with the term expiring first Tuesday, September 2022.
You just passed that one.
Yeah, okay, well, that's what I thought.
Yeah, you're on to D now. You're looking for Preston Levy.
I just, okay. Sorry about that.
David McMahon.
Okay, it's confusing me with the letter and the appointment here. Next item, resolution appointing Commissioner of Preston Levee District, David McMahon. Again, we received a letter from them asking for this appointment. Whereas the Board of Commissioners, I make a motion that we appoint David McMahon to serve as Commissioner of the Preston Levee District for a term expiring first Tuesday of September 2022.
I'll second that.
Commissioner Harville,
Yes.
Commissioner Pitts,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Toller,
Yes.
Commissioner Gould.
Yes.
Next item, resolution appointing member of 7-7 Health, Board of Health, Kent Pitts. Commissioner Pitts' term expires June 30th, 2022. New term will expire June 30th, 2023. I make a motion, we reappoint Kent Pitts to member of the 7-7 Board of Health.
Commissioner Harville,
Yes.
Commissioner Pitts,
Name.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Toller,
Yes.
Commissioner Gould.
Yes.
Okay, next item, ordinance amending Article 3 liquor licensing and Article 4 liquor regulations of Chapter 21 of the Union County Code of Ordinances. I asked to get this new resolution simply because, I don't know if all of you know how this works. We have different categories of liquor licenses for the county. There is a number set on those, which we have all full, basically. We have people approaching us. We have some presently wanting to open up a new local business in the county. And I will add, it's not just for liquor sales or gaming or whatever. Without naming names at this point, but there is one looking to open up a new business that be a little different business than we have in Union County, which I think when it's announced, everybody will be excited about it. And a lot of people will be. But in the same location, he's going to have state of Illinois gambling machines, which requires that he has a liquor license. So that's the main reason to do this. We got to looking at, like I said, all of our licenses were full.
We need to add a catering one too.
Pardon?
There's a catering one as well. That added.
I don't know if anybody has any questions about this, but it goes through all the licenses. Yeah. We've added a number to it, so I foresee down the road that we will have other people approaching us for different things, and even bed and breakfast, if the list is pretty widespread, special use, wine trail licenses, caterer. I mean, there's a whole list there if you go through them, and the amounts for each license and so forth, so.
Need a motion there.
I make a motion that we adopt the ordinance amending Article 3 and 4 of Chapter 21 of the Union County Code of Ordinances, as written.
I'll second.
Commissioner Harville,
Yes.
Commissioner Pitts,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Toller,
Yes.
Commissioner Gould.
Okay, last item on the agenda, Commissioner Harville previously discussed earlier. We have an application that the Hoot Board has all voted yes for. From the Union County Chamber of Commerce and Economic Development. I will add to this, and Angie, you can correct me if I'm wrong. Granted, we do have money available to do this still in our budget for the year. What was the amount we gave them last time?
$22,050.
Which also they reported to the board that they have not spent all of that at this time. They also are required to give receipts and do a update that we require for anybody getting this grant money, which they have not done. I personally, I'm not against giving them this amount of money for what they want. I think it's a great deal, but they're not following the rules that we have put forth in order to get this money. So I'm just throwing that out there. I don't know if you all are aware of that or not, but you are now. So,
Max, I sit on that board and I will reach out to the rest of them and tell them that they need to follow through with this, so.
well, and my point being, we shouldn't have to, because they know the rules when they get the money. And that's my only objection to this. I'm not objecting to the reason for the money or the amount, but I don't feel like that we can award money when they don't follow the rules we set forth. And that's just my opinion.
How much is it that's unspent, you know?
I don't know.
I do know that the request that they're,
It's not so much the money that's unspent. I mean, that's part of it, but the fact that they did not follow through with the reports that they're supposed to in order to justify what we've already given them.
Okay.
That's the big rule. Yes. We set that a long time ago when we formed this board, just mainly to keep people from coming back and asking for 100 here, or 2,000 here, 3,000, just whatever. And that's the way it was. So that's the reason.
can you relay that?
I absolutely will. That's what I will make sure that gets, is it to this board or the Hoot board for my, I didn't
They're
know.
supposed to give it to the Hoot board when they make applications.
Okay. I will,
And then the Hoot board reviews that, and we go by what they say.
okay. But the presentation then goes back to the Hoot board. All right. I will make sure that is taken care of today and I'll get with them.
I mean, you guys, that's just my opinion. I'm not,
No, there's protocol you have to follow. I agree with you.
so
I will, and I will say that, and not because I'm on, but that the new website is doing really well. It's bringing a lot of, yeah, and I know.
It's wonderful.
Yeah, it's working really well. I feel like the presentation that they will give will satisfy that.
Well,
because
I have
it's-
no doubt about
Yeah,
that.
I know
but
that.
It's just
Sure.
A, B, and C.
Oh, yeah, you gotta follow the guidelines for sure.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
got dropped out of it. So I'll make a motion that we table for the time being the approval of the tourism grant for Union County Chamber and Economic Development.
I second it.
You say table?
Yep.
Okay.
And you can add to that until
Yeah.
proper reports are filed.
Okay. Really don't need to vote on a table issue.
No, I'm just saying that's what we're gonna
Okay.
do. I don't think we have anything for executive session. Does anybody else? Other business?
I've got a quick question. It's probably not a big thing. I know all of our committees that we're on, they're pretty open and transparent. And I don't mean nothing by this, but I keep hearing rumbling about Union County Animal Control. And I'd just like to know when the committee meetings are for Union County Animal Control, so they can be accessed. There's no committee meetings. I know that, when I first was elected to office, I was wanting to get some committees to work as kind of a go-between the board and the public. And, is there any way that we can actually have a Union County Animal Control Committee, with members at large on it?
Commissioner that relays all that. I mean, I'm out there every day. I've got all these papers right here so you guys can see.
It's not Darrell, it's not a committee as some that you serve on where there's several members and this type of thing. It's just a liaison between us and Animal Control, the Department of Agriculture, who governs everything that we do. Department of Ag is there damn near every 2 weeks. We have a excellent 100% clean bill of health. I know where you're coming from with all this, and it's all back to stuff that's on social media and everything else. And as far as I'm concerned, there's nothing to discuss. As long as the Department of Ag says we're doing okay, which they do, they're not finding anything to.
No, that's really not even an issue for me. It's just,
Well,
it's just like our other committees that we're on. There's minutes and it's open and transparent, and the public can come to our meetings and discuss things.
It's just like the sheriff's department. They don't have committee.
Who's that?
The sheriff's department, Like I said, I'm the liaison between,
it's not, what I'm saying is, it's not a committee that makes decisions or recommendations. Animal Control is its own entity, operated by the county. Anybody's free to go out there and look at it, see it, talk to them, anything they want to do. So it's not a committee. I mean, we may form a committee, and I'm not saying we will, but when we get ready to start this building for ideas, stuff like that, I don't know. It just depends on what the architect shows us and different things. But
I was just thinking it'd be a good idea, like if we had a member, like from the City Council of Jonesboro and City Council of Vanna, because, we have a lot of agreements with them, for
I
animal
communicate with
control.
them people pretty much daily.
And Dongo and places like that, and kind of work together a little bit,
And I do pretty much daily. Yep.
So, can we at least look at that when we get the building?
we can look at,
up?
we can look at anything. I don't have a problem with that.
Okay, good, yeah.
Other business too, just for everybody's FYI, I think Monday we're scheduled to start the demolition across the street. Is that right?
Well, Monday was the first day they could do it, but I emailed her to confirm it was gonna be Monday, and she said, let me get back to you to tell you the exact day. But if it's not Monday, it's gonna be sometime next week.
Yeah.
They should be tearing that down.
Be tearing down the assessor's old office across the street.
won't be going through there.
I went through there and got the rest of my few little things out of there, so it's ready. The raccoon has already started on that front porch, so yeah, it's ready to go.
Anything else?
I have something I'd like to just bring up. The state's attorney's office has been and continues to work through planning and analysis of our processes in anticipation of the implementation of the Pretrial Fairness Act, which is broadly referenced as the Safety Act, ironically. I've talked to multiple people in the county and out and about this, trying to raise awareness. And I know I've brought it up in a meeting once or twice, I think already, but people should expect to see some information being posted and sent out from the state's attorney's office, informing the community and the public generally about the implementation of what is called the Safety Act. This is the act that has a great deal of reforms to the criminal justice system, rules, processes, procedures that we follow in trying to police in the community. Unfortunately, despite the name Safety Act, these law changes operate to, in my opinion, have a major negative impact on community safety. That being, this act will, on January 1st, completely restructure how we handle criminal court cases pre-trial. That meaning, a part of this change is that a large majority of criminal offenses that we currently see in the community that we charge, many of those offenses, we will no longer be able to detain offenders on cash bail. The idea is referenced generally as no cash bail. That is exactly what they say. We are not able to detain someone even for certain felony offenses under these rules. We are to essentially issue them a citation. I can try to have a hearing to detain someone where I have to meet some very high and unreasonable burdens to justify detaining them. This is a major concern from a policing standpoint in the community. And you will see information coming out from my office, again, over the next, probably beginning in September, to raise public awareness about this, to inform people about these changes that are happening, because it's completely going to change how we go about our job and what we are actually able to do. We are essentially in a situation where we will not be able to police. And this is not something we are choosing to do. This is something myself and just about any state's attorney in the southern region of the state opposes vehemently. We've been having meetings with other states' attorneys' offices and the attorney general or the appellate prosecutors, etc., involving these changes and how we're going to try and adjust and deal with them. But the bottom line is this: assuming this law does come into full effect as written, our ability to keep criminals off of the streets, to prevent recidivism, which is reoffending by someone who's already got a criminal charge going or has had in the past, is going to be drastically cut back. We are essentially going to be asked to work with one hand tied behind our back compared to what we can do now. And I say that with the caveat that there have been justice reforms to pre-trial processes and the timing of bail that have operated to curb our abilities over the past few years. This new change that we will see January 1st is going to do more to hamper our ability to police, to detain, and to be comfortable knowing that we can keep criminals off of the streets. We have been very proactive in trying to adjust and accommodate these changes as best we can. The unfortunate truth of things is if we are to follow the changes in the rules to the letter, we are essentially looking at a situation that would put us where we will have to be having court hearings within 24 hours notice. That includes weekends, that includes holidays, etc. And again, if we follow it to the letter, we would essentially have to staff a whole courthouse. That would be front door bailiff, courtroom bailiff, state's attorney, public defender, judge, pretrial services coordinator, which is someone who is a new position that's been created by this to help gather information about an offender in anticipation of a hearing on having them detained. And we would have to have those people available essentially any day of the week, all the time. And again, there's no real clear direction on whether we could have these hearings in a remote setting. As I see it right now, and I think there's some other people that read it the same way, they are expecting us to be able to just have court anytime on any day for these kinds of hearings. I've been working with Kerry Clark in the clerk's office, as well as all of the municipal chiefs, our sheriff here, and others to have discussions and get plans in place to execute against this when we have to. But I want to make the board, make anyone here aware, as well as those out in the community, that despite our efforts to curb criminal offenses and our struggles that we see daily that are undisputable with repeat offenders related to drug offenses and the like, things are going to get harder. And I want to make sure that everyone knows we will do everything that we can do to do our jobs the right way, despite the fact that these rule changes are effectively clipping our wings even more than they already have been in our ability to prosecute, police, and prevent criminal conduct in the community. I encourage anyone to talk to your friends, your relatives, your people, make them aware of these changes. Most people would look at something that's called the Safety Act and expect that it would be increasing safety. Somehow they managed to call this the Safety Act, and it operates to let more criminals roam the streets. I would also encourage anybody who has questions, or if there's people in the community that have questions, to direct them to me so I can help to explain or clear up any questions that might be out there about this. But I do want to get that out there. You can keep your eyes open. We'll be pumping some information out through the office generally to the community and to others, just to try and give a better picture of what we'll be dealing with. It's something, again, that I am very frustrated with. I really object to the whole idea. But again, the people that make our rules don't necessarily do our jobs or understand what those rules do when they implement them, and we are left to deal with it. So again, just a heads up, and keep watching. We'll be doing our best to keep everyone abreast of the changes coming at the first year.
Thank you, sir. Just a final statement on that. And again, not even discussing the safety of the people in Union County. We've got to find a space in the courthouse for this advocate, which is not here now. It's kind of like the mandate on the voting. It's going to cost us more money, and nobody's going to give us any money to take care of it. So just FYI, think about that budget time. So anything else? I make motion to adjourn.
Second.
Commissioner Harville,
Yes.
Commissioner Pitts,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Toller,
Yes.
Commissioner Gould.
I guess we could thought of the name of that.
I'll look at for that.
Kind of like the inflation reduction.
Almost exactly that.